All right, welcome to our latest Swampcast. We're going to preview the Florida-Louisiana Lafayette game. Of course, it's homecoming. Robbie, going to Growl?
No, I haven't been in years.
Neither am I. Too
much traffic.
I don't care about that. But they usually lure me in with a great comedian, and Tracy Morgan was almost enough, but I'm not a big country fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. I haven't been since 91, I think it was.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the night Leonard Skinner played, it was really good.
Yeah.
And
I was there for Bob Hope the year that he made us redo
Hope.
the introduction because there weren't enough cheering.
Yeah. Bob Hope.
It was weak.
How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
A day older than you.
Our birthdays are next week. You're allowed to send anything you want.
But what about this? We've got Celebrity Swampcast. Johnny Cash has decided to come and do the Swampcast.
Hey, it was clean, man. What do you want? I had to wear all black. Okay, so the Florida Lafayette game, and we would talk a little bit about
it's UL,
this.
Pat. They've dropped Lafayette.
Whatever. Florida.
UL, just call them UL.
Florida versus UL. And I'm just telling you, if Florida's got to show up. This is not a game.
No.
This isn't even like the Furman game. Remember last year when they played Furman, they were getting beat, and you're like, what the heck's going on? Well, then they turned it on.
Yeah.
But this team just beat Monroe, and don't forget,
They
is
beat
that
Arkansas.
UL? Is that UL too, or what?
Yeah, that is UL.
That's UL, so it's UL and UL.
Monroe.
Okay, UL Monroe.
Yeah, but this is just UL.
UL Monroe, which beat Arkansas and took Auburn to overtime, and everybody was in love with that team, how
Yeah.
great they were. They just throttled them 40-24. And they've got a dual-threat quarterback in Terrence Broadway who can move around. So,
He probably won't throw 4 picks like last week.
No, he's not going to sail the ball. But Florida's got to show up. Florida's better than them, obviously, much better than them. They're still a number 6 team in the BCS, but got to show up and play.
Yeah, I'll be as bad as Florida's been on offense, Pat. I'll be shocked if they don't go up and down the field. This is a UL team that's 114th in the nation in pass defense, 440 yards a game. So Florida should be able to do what they want to and get a little confidence on offense.
Yeah, and I think you're right, but the question is, will Florida go for the throat here, or will they say, let's go win the game 28-14 like they did in opening day?
Well, the Muschamp way, and it's worked, is
Right.
do what you have to do to win the game. If you have to be conservative against this team, do it. Get the winning, move on.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, they tell us certain things about health. We don't know for sure until the
We
game
do know
comes.
DeBose is out again.
Yeah,
so.
DeBose is out, and that hurts them a little bit. They basically don't have a speed sweep guy. Omarius Hines did it last week and did it effectively for the touchdown. But, it's almost like when you put him there, you go, well, they're going to run it. But with both Solomon Patton and Andre DeBose done, maybe for the year, I mean, we'll see about DeBose, but it certainly has restricted them. But again, somebody asked me the other day, goes, I don't understand why we don't pass the ball with all the athletes, great athletes we have on offense. And I'm like, where are they? There's no wide receivers,
No dynamic receiver. And, they've hit 2 big plays, both called back.
Yeah,
South
exactly.
Carolina, Missouri. So, they can do it, but, you got to execute.
And the other thing is they aren't protecting. I will say this, Robbie. I think their offensive line has regressed more than any unit on that team.
Yeah.
But a part of it is this. They're playing great defenses. Even Missouri's problem isn't their defense. Their problem is being consistent on offense. But South Carolina, Georgia, when they want to play, they're as good a defense as anybody. LSU, even Vanderbilt.
And then you put those really good athletes, 8 men of them in the box.
Yeah.
You're going to have a hard time run blocking, pass protecting. We've seen it every week.
Well, Missouri had 11 guys within 10 yards of the ball on every play. And 10 of those were like within 6 yards of the ball.
I mean, it was a really compressed
You can't run
field.
on that. And the trouble is the offensive line's not blocking well enough to give you time to pass deep. So it's a miracle Florida's 8-1, to be honest with you. I think it says a lot about what Will Muschamp's been able to do to get to this point. But you don't want to tarnish that with a loss this week or next week. Look, what happens in Tallahassee happens in Tallahassee. Yeah. But the next 2 weeks, you just got to go take care of business and get the wins.
Yeah, and Pat, somebody asked me the other day, is Florida trying to avoid losing? I'm going, no, they're trying to find a way to win the game. They're coming up with a way to win games. They're not trying to avoid losing.
Don't bring up the Doug Dickey mantra.
I know, but this is what was asked me, and they're just doing a plan to win a game, that's all.
Well, there's not a big difference between avoid losing and trying to find a way to win the game, except that when you're trying to find a way, you're more likely to take a shot here and there.
Yeah.
They avoid losing under Doug Dickey. They lost games 8-7 and 10-7 and stuff like that. Yeah. So
they're trying to take shots down the field, and they're going to keep working on it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and this will be an interesting game. Homecoming, as always, is always interesting. I think it'll save the crowd a little bit.
It will. It'll be fine.
It's not going to be a Kentucky bad crowd. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, they announced their crowd last week is 44.5. They did actual tickets, 18,000 people there for the Kentucky game.
To see Joker go out.
To see his last game as a head. Well, I guess he gets.
Well, yeah, he gets 2.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Who they hire to be a head coach. The SEC, when we go to Hoover next year, it's going to be a whole different group
It
of
will
guys.
be, no question.
But we'll see what happens. And we'll be back with you from the Swamp after the game, after the Florida UL.
The UL game.
The UL game. Okay,
Yeah,
I got to
just
get
call
this
it
straight.
the UL game.
Okay, but it's not Southern Cal, it's USC, right? Okay,
No.
I got to get all this straight. We'll be back to tell you our impressions of that game. We may even do some impressions. I got a great
Johnny
Rodney
Cash.
Dangerfield. I'm doing Dangerfield instead of Cash.
You got to sing at the end of this.
I can't sing, as you know.
Duh.
All right, we'll be back then. Till then, Pat Dooley, Robbie Andrew of the Gainesville Sun saying so long from the Sunshine State.